Editor-in-Chief is live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, welcome to the show, folks. Good to have you company. It is October the 16th. Welcome along. Of course, we are supported by About Health. You're with the Editor-in-Chief live, of course, with Lester's Oil. About Health, your multi-ingredient omega-3 health engaging supplement backed by thousands of satisfied customers. 6 supplements in 1 capsule, supports joint, heart and brain health. Take as directed. Read the label. It is About Health Auckland.
Duncan Garner, live.
Okay, evening everybody. I'm Duncan Garner. Welcome. Good to have you company this evening. Well done. You got here. Get in touch. We're on YouTube and TikTok. Hello to you. Inflation drops to where it should be, so more interest rate cuts. Are they on the agenda? Brad Olsen will give us his hot take very shortly. And what are you really worth when it comes to your job? How much should you be paid? How do you value yourself and your contribution? What should you be paid? Should you get break-up leave as an entitlement? Break-up leave. Tom O'Neill will talk us through how to be paid properly shortly. And Colin Mathura Jeffree, model, man about town, never ages, the best dressed guy around, and a hell of a bloke as well. He will talk to us about how to get rid of our old clothes and help the Red Cross at the same time. So looking forward to that. Love this guy. Let's go.
Duncan Garner, live.
Okay, nice to have you company this afternoon. Welcome. Inflation has slumped to 2.2% for the year. The highs and the woes of the plus 7% era has disappeared. Thank heavens. What does it mean? Lower interest rates, of course, are around the corner. Surely Brad Olsen from Infometrics joins us by phone. He's at a function, so we're going to touch base quickly. Brad, what do we make of this? Is this lower interest rates to come?
Oh, very much so. I mean, I think it also, the result today, 2.2%, very close to, not only within the band, but actually pretty close to the midpoint the Reserve Bank is targeting, very much vindicating that idea and the move that they made last week to cut interest rates by a larger 50 basis points, but also really starts to put on the cards that if inflation is basically back towards normal, it's close to that midpoint of the target, then surely we should be able to get further interest rate reduction over time. So very much setting us up for further cuts at the end of this year. And we still think at Infometrics are now strong possibility of a 75 basis point cut as we move through. So very much much better numbers starting to come through.
Yeah, this is good news. And, this is the flip side of us being angry with the Reserve Bank Governor for sort of, perhaps misleading us and, the big sort of spending cuts from the government. But this is the result, right? We've got from 7% to 2.2%. This is finally some good news that, sure, it's still an increase in the cost of living, but it's down to 2% where it should be.
Absolutely, and I think looking below the surface at some of those numbers, there are some various movements that came through today that does still, make the outlook a little bit murky in that you had the government, of course, with their Family Boost program. There was lower early childhood fees, the end of the Auckland Regional Fuel Tax also pulled things back. There was a bit of a boost upwards from prescription costs coming back on. So quite a lot of government changes coming through that muddied the waters a bit. The big one for us when we looked through the details was the fact that non-tradable, domestically based inflation came down to 4.9%. That's a good result. Building cost increases just 0.1% in the latest quarter. That's the lowest in, I think, something like 13 years. So again, we're starting to see very much that those low interest rates have worked. They've limited how much people can pass on prices. People are having to be a lot sharper when it comes to discounts and quoting up jobs. So all of that is very, very much encouraging. And it's certainly when we look through the figures, we do think that a lot of that is able to persist. It's not likely to be that next quarter things jump back up. We are in hopefully a more persistently less inflationary environment, and that's certainly encouraging after the pain of the last couple of years.
And that means lower interest rates. We can expect them to go again. You're picking 0.75. I think you're going to be close on the money here because there's no need. At 2%, there's no need for them to keep interest rates this high. They can move, can't they? There's room to cut again, isn't there?
Oh, very much. And again, I mean, just the evolution of that over this year. Back in May, the Reserve Bank said interest rates on hold, might have to be on hold for a year, might even go up. 3 months later, looking at the economy, which had broadly evolved as expected, maybe a little bit lower down, there was that first cut that came through in August 25. 6 weeks later, you had a 50. So that acceleration, that sort of recognition that actually we need to normalise interest rates a lot faster. We need to accelerate that process. That seems to be the case still at the moment. And the big one for us when we look through those figures is that the Reserve Bank's got a 3-month 12-month break, a 12-week break over summer before it meets in late February to reassess how the economy's going, you would sort of worry a little bit that if you've decided that you need to go 50 in October, that if you go 50 again, there's the risk now that inflation is back towards the target point that you again are still moving too slow, and we've seen that from the Reserve Bank time and time again. They're probably still behind the 8 ball at the moment, so 75 just buys you a little bit more insurance so that you can come back in February, assess where you need to go. But that's, I think, where the question starts to come next year. How much further does the official cash rate drop? How much does the Reserve Bank think it needs to sort of bring it down? What is the new normal neutral where we sort of have the economy back in balance? So a lot of open questions still.
Yeah, hey, good stuff, Brad. I'll let you go. I know you're a busy man, but thank you so much for your time this evening. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, good man.
Duncan Garner, live.
Yeah, and those rates, the inflation would have been lower, even lower, had it not been for your rates being so high. For council spending so much, they're on the loose, you see, and your rates are so high, and the big increases with your rates, had they been a bit lower, then maybe inflation would be a bit lower. So councils, tut. Not good. Right, 3 questions.
3 questions from the editor-in-chief.
Okay, send us your thoughts on these as well. But will Wellington Council be taken over by commissioners for becoming what the government says is a shambles? No way, says Mayor Tory Whānau, who held an urgent meeting today. They don't believe they've broken any rules or done anything wrong, and, all the laws, they've never broken any laws, she says. But clearly the government wouldn't threaten it if they weren't serious, and if Wellington Council was taken over by government-appointed commissioners, it would signal a dark day for the capital, and it would be an end to Tory Whānau's wobbly and, quite frankly, bizarre leadership of the capital city. At number 2, loose forwards down. How many? 3 down. And can the All Blacks recover from that? This is the beauty of New Zealand rugby. Despite the exodus and injuries, we're a rugby factory. And the bad luck for Ethan Blackadder and Luke Jacobson and Dalton Papali'i is good news for young Wellingtonian Peter Luckheim, who looks every bit an All Black, doesn't he? He's an exciting young player. Could this be the break that he needed to cement himself in the black jersey? Satiti, Luckeye, Savia. Now, there's an exciting loose forward trio. Just saying, just saying.
3.
At number 3, are Crocs cool? Are they back? Is it okay to wear Crocs? I'll get your advice on this. Is it okay to wear Crocs? I'm wearing them right now. The America's Cup boys are wearing them. And over the weekend, I purchased my first pair, my second-hand pair, for $40. Off my son. So I've paid for them twice, you see. They're white. Now, are they okay, or are they tragic and clunky, or are they cool? They're so comfortable. It may have taken me 10 years to ride the Croc train, but I'm rocking the Crocky. I'll take your thoughts on this. Good evening.
Duncan Garner, live.
Isaac, Crocs, yes or no? Yay, no, yay or nay?
I remember owning a pair of Crocs when I was about 4.
What are you saying?
So that would have been...
I'm late to the party.
Yeah, a little bit. But they've definitely come back, I will say. So they were huge about 15 odd years ago.
Mine is second hand.
Oh, yeah. They're good, though.
But they have come back, and they've got a second wave.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Yeah.
And they're sort of pre-worn as well. I paid $100 for them initially.
You could argue you're
40.
a little bit late to the second wave as well. But, hey, that's...
I'm just seeing if they were cool.
Oh, yeah, no, they're great. Are you going to get, what are they called, giblets or something like that?
Talk to me about giblets.
Okay, good.
Do you like your job? I mean, don't mention... giblets. Well, those little things that you attach to them. Yeah. I've bought some before, but only for my son.
Yeah. Okay, only for his son. Guys.
Hey, but I'm an idiot, though. I've bought these things twice.
Yeah, I know. Classic.
I should have just stolen them from him. Yeah. Okay, folks, good evening to you. Send me your thoughts on that too, your TikTok and YouTube. How much are you worth? How much should you be paid? And how do you really negotiate with your new boss? It can be intimidating. In some countries are now including things like breakup leave. So if you break up from your missus, or your marriage breaks up, and you're really upset about it, then you can, and you're stressed from it, then you can have breakup leave. So it's been, some countries are doing this now. So we get all this stuff in our contracts now, but can you negotiate it? And should I have negotiated something like this? Don't answer that. Tom O'Neill from cv.co.nz is with me. Tommy, g'day, mate. Nice to have you on.
G'day, mate. I'm live from the Wellington Airport car park, which is nice.
And that's why you got no seatbelt on, because you're parked still. You're not driving, right? Before we get complaints from the
Safety
complainers. Yeah?
first.
Yes. How do I negotiate? What am I worth? What are you worth? It's such a tough question when you start to, you got the job. Now you got to sit down with the boss and work out what you're worth. You don't want to sell yourself short. You don't want to go too high in case you look like a greedy prat. So what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. The first thing you want to do is really have an understanding of your value. And it's interesting because that's really a mashup of our qualifications, our experience, our career achievements, contacts, all those sort of things. So that creates our personal brand, and that has a value. But we also got to balance that with the job. Every job has its upper limit. So really just trying to make sure that we're looking at what what that looks at, and really know what we're wanting. We would have a fee, a salary I'd really love, and then I'd also have a backup that I'd take if push came to shove.
Is there such a thing as aiming for a figure and being happy? So if you say, I want 100K, but you really want 80, so do you aim for 100 hoping to get 80, or do you aim for 120 hoping to get 100? I mean, if you put a figure, they're not going to take it. And if they put one, you're not going to take it. So you're going to try and see somewhere in the middle. So how do you sort of have the balls to negotiate that?
Yeah, well, again, it's always balancing it, because you don't want to, as you say, go too high, and then the employer goes, well, we haven't signed the contract yet, so no. So you really, when you're at that point when negotiating salary, you're at a pretty good time. So hopefully at that stage you've already had some indicative sort of conversations. But I'd go with what I would like first, but then, as I say, have a fallback. But one thing to understand also is we get really carried away with the actual money and the actual dollars. I earn this, they earn that. But in actual fact, there's other ways to remunerate ourselves, or so we can negotiate.
How?
That can be,
how are we going to pay the bills? So we've got to pay the bills, mate. I can't pay the bills with leave. Or a box of chocolates.
Fair enough. Yeah, there's other things like training or extra holidays and that sort of stuff. We can try and, have a good time to negotiate. Really great time to negotiate our value is also during, annual performance appraisals. We can come to our employee and say, look, we've achieved this and we've achieved that. What do you think?
And what about if they've approached you? So if they've poached and approached you, then if they want you, they clearly want you, you haven't applied for the job, they've shoulder tapped you. Surely then you have a chance to sort of pounce a bit when it comes to salary, yeah?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. At that stage, I'll be putting, probably 10% above what I'd want.
Yeah.
And, because now we can have that negotiation. If they've come to me, obviously they see value in my personal brand I talked about just before. They see that value, they understand that value. So therefore that has a price. And so, if I got approached, I'd think, okay, well, what do I want? Well, I'll put on a little personal brand bonus on top of that and hope for the best.
Some people can get this entirely wrong too, can't they? They can sort of misread the room. They need to look at the place they're going to, the industry they're going to, what they bring to the job. Like if you're bringing established clients into that business already, then that's worth something. If you're taking invoiced clients into that job, then you've got to get paid something for that, because it's almost like a finder's fee in many ways. You bring it to the company.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, a lot of people in, let's say, sales, in those sort of environments, they are very, very powerful in their industry. They've got the contacts. They've worked hard over 10, 15 years to get to know everyone, get trusted, do all that sort of stuff. That is worth money to an employer. Yeah. And it's worth money to you as a candidate. So really, the more contacts you have, that's one of the metrics that will sort of push you up in terms of that value.
I was reading in the last sort of 24 hours that a number of countries have got this, or they're heading towards this breakup leave. So, if your marriage breaks up, whatever, you've got this established in your contract. Because, when you break up marriage, and you're heading into the workplace, it can be a tough time, sort of your head's not with it. And so a lot of companies are going this way. A lot of countries are starting to look at it and legislate for this sort of thing. What else can you have? You've got annual leave, you've got funeral leave, you've got mental health leave. Where does it end for companies? And is it a good thing to ask for special leave?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I suppose I would always be a bit dicey if I was the candidate coming up and negotiating breakup leave.
Yeah. What's going on at home?
Yeah, well, that's really the first thing I'd say is the employer would be thinking, okay, why is this happening? Why are we having this conversation? So, and don't get me wrong, breakups, all that stuff that impacts our mental health. That's that conversation, we want to have. A lot of companies will have mental health days, and they're kind of a bit more informal, and it's sort of something you have with an employee. You have a sort of a friendly, engaged conversation with the employer. And if you're open and honest, and they can see that, then those mental health days can be something that can be negotiated instead of having sick pay.
Yeah, and they're more accepted now too, aren't they? I mean, back in the day, you just
Yeah.
you're hungover, mate, and you've taken the sickie. You've taken a hangover day, but mental health day. But now they actually officially acknowledge mental health, which about time, I suppose. For it's been so long in the dark ages.
Awesome.
If someone offers me 80. What's a realistic figure to go back? If you think, that's almost there, but do you go back at 90 or 100? I mean, what's the best advice to people? You don't want to offend them.
Again, it depends on the role. But one really good negotiation tactic, obviously, you go back with a bit more and try and find a happy medium. But if they stick at 80 and you really want the job, one thing you can do is say to them, "Hey, look, I'll take it for 80, but after 3 months, I'd like to have a performance review, a formal performance review. I want that written in my, letter of engagement, and then at that stage, I'll have 3 months to prove to you my value." And you'll be able to, see what I bring to the organisation, and then we can have that conversation then. So, it gives them a win. They get you for that price, but it also gets you a win that very soon you'll be able to really have a really good open conversation about that, and there's no surprises.
Yeah. Can you at that stage also say, well, if it's a 3-year contract, I want to go 80, 85, 90. I mean, can you build in pay rises in advance, or is it best to wait to perform?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. I mean, end of the day, you can negotiate whatever you want. It's an employment agreement. It's a contract. So if you want to, negotiate, you wear white Crocs every day to work. Well, if the employer's happy with that, great. Fill your boots.
Yeah.
Fill your Crocs.
Are you? Yeah, they got holes in them, mate. Are you better off to have yourself negotiate or an agent?
I mean, again, for probably roles under 150, yourself is fine. When you're starting to get, some, pretty serious dollars, that's maybe where you may look to get advice from an agent or, a coach, who can give you some good insight there.
Flight 426 is leaving to Auckland. Could passenger Tom O'Neill please make his way to the air bridge? Could he please make his way to the air bridge? You're running late. Hey, I'll let you go, Tommy. I appreciate your time, mate.
Real pleasure, my friend. Thanks so much.
Okay,
really
catch you again soon. Yeah, Tom O'Neill, cv.co.nz, one of the good guys. All right, your feedback, let us know your feedback. You can send your thoughts. We're on YouTube, send us a message on YouTube, send us a message there on TikTok.
Duncan Garner, live.
Okay, good to have your company, folks. Welcome along now. Colin Mathura Jeffree, a man about town, stylish dude, great guy. If you've got a pile of clothes you wish to throw out, stop there. Wait. As the cost of living continues to squeeze Kiwi households, donating money to charity is becoming more difficult for many, many people. However, there are still meaningful ways to give back, and with cash seemingly tight, donating clothing to charity stores is an effective way to help charities fundraise. Last year, the Red Cross Uber clothing drive collected 56,000 kilograms of clothing, enough to stock Red Cross stores throughout the holiday period and for months afterwards, which is great. This Saturday, the drive returns, allowing Kiwis across Auckland, Christchurch and Wellington to donate their unused clothing from their doorstep and help support Red Cross's work around the country. This year, fashion icon, good guy, man about town, Colin Mathura Jeffree is on board to guide Kiwis on how to declutter their wardrobes and donate smarter. He joins me. One of the good guys, I tell you. Colin, g'day, mate.
Oh, that's wonderful. What an introduction.
Wasn't it? I mean, I could have gone on and on, but we've only got so much time.
Brilliant.
Hey, are Crocs, can I just ask you before you, are Crocs still in?
They've never been in my opinion. People wear them and they say they're comfortable or...
Yeah.
I can't stand
I
them.
got my first pair on the weekend off my son.
Oh.
I gave him $40 and took a white pair, second hand, from my son. But I'm not sure. I'm just not sure about them. At age 50, I'm wearing them. I'm late to the party.
Oh, you're wearing them?
Yeah, I've got them on now. Here, let me come around and show you.
No, please.
You want to leave, do you? Anyway, I thought I'd ask your advice. I think I've heard enough. Yeah, how you been?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Yeah.
It's a privilege to be here and see you.
Yeah, and see you too.
Yeah.
We've got mutual friends.
Yes, we do.
So, good guys.
Yeah.
Good lads.
From my growing up.
They speak very highly of you. Right, Red Cross, you're doing good work.
Yeah, this is brilliant. This is in every way. You take all the hard work out of delivering wonderful clothes to people that need it through the Red Cross.
How do you... So 56,000 kilograms last year.
Yeah, that is
That's
incredible.
Huge.
And I think we can do better this year.
We should aim for this, right? We should have a target.
Absolutely. And I think that Kiwis really do get behind it. They're really excited about it, donating really good clothes. That's what I think is really important.
But what do you throw out, though? So, I mean, I've got so many things at home that should go. But I'm also one of those guys that, look, I've got T-shirts that don't fit and I've still got them in the drawers. Why am I doing this, But there's so many things that we can throw out that, our junk might be someone else's gold, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think we need to call it throwing it out. I think we need to say that we're gifting it.
Yeah, recycling.
And recycling or just upcycling.
Yeah. So how does it work?
So how we do it is you pack your quality clothes in a sturdy bag or box, open the Uber app, scroll to the Red Cross clothing drive, tap on that.
It's easy, isn't it?
Yeah. And then it's the car will come around between 10 and 4 only on the 19th.
So they come around, just this day, just this particular Saturday, they'll come around, pick it up and take it away. So you don't have to do anything apart from just take it, identify what goes.
You have to do something. You have to pack those clothes up, make sure they're clean, make sure they're good clothes.
Yes.
And then, then you just tap the app.
What do we hang on to? What is it that people think, I've got nothing to throw out, but they've got plenty to recycle into gift? What should people look for in their drawers and their wardrobes as they try and declutter? Because that's the bonus of it, you declutter.
I think the brilliance of this is the cleansing nature of it. And I think that we live in an age of overabundance and we are hoarding.
Yes.
So I think this is a great opportunity to cleanse. You go through. I've done it myself. I'm giving it.
Well, how many wardrobes have you got?
I have.
I bet you have.
I have an awful lot of clothes, and I'm giving some beautiful pieces, some suits.
Yep.
Some. I wear a lot of New Zealand brands.
Yes.
And they're going to go to the stores local.
Where's
to
your
me.
stuff going? We better check that out. We want to
You
be
get to the Red
where
Cross.
your stuff is. Yeah.
You get to the Red Cross and you'll see, after Saturday, you'll see some wonderful clothes from me.
And all of us are haulers. Like, there's very few that aren't. And, obviously you get those people who do declutter well. A lot of people don't, and they've got so much stuff in there. They don't know what's in there. If you haven't used something for 3 months.
Yeah, they say that, 3 months.
Is that what it is? About 3
months or 4 months. But I think if it doesn't fit, I think the nature of, if you consider me, I will wear the outfits I'm wearing, about 10 outfits consistently.
Yeah.
And so the 400 other things are just sitting in drawers and cupboards and
they're
storage.
being Ubered on Saturday.
Yeah, and they have to go. They literally have to go.
Do you have go-to? Do you have a sort of favourite clothes and favourite go-tos that you feel comfortable in, that sort of stand out and that you love?
Well, I'm 52 years old now, so the nature of clothing is just comfort, really.
Yeah,
and I love a good pair of jeans and a good pair of shoes, real shoes.
Yes. Not. I know you're disappointed in me. I mean, I've held off, having these Crocs for a long time. The other option is jandals.
Yeah. Jandals are flip-flops.
Yeah,
they're
flip-flops,
good.
yeah.
Very Kiwi.
Yeah. So what? So you're going to throw out some suits? You've got a few things to throw out through recycle?
Gifting. I'm not throwing anything away. I'm gifting.
Yes.
Some suits, and I'm going to be giving some a lot of shirts. I think I've got about 20 shirts I'm going to be giving. So the thing is about whatever you would consider that you would like to receive or find in a shop, I think they're the things that if you have the potential and the want to gift it away,
yes,
this is what's brilliant about this.
Are there some things that they won't take? Are there some things that you won't take? Are there some things that you prefer that were recycled that were gifted?
I think anything that's by its own nature dirty or ruined, do not
want it.
Please
don't use it as a dumping ground.
Don't use it as a dumping ground. And also undergarments and swimwear is a no as well.
No, you don't want the budgie smugglers.
No.
Do
you?
No, I don't want someone's recycled budgies. How have you been? So how is work? How is life? Because we have been so locked up for so long, and now we're sort of out there and opening up again as a country. How are we doing? Do you reckon?
It's a new world. It is a new world. I think I went overseas, and I was so excited about the energy of what's going on overseas, and I want to bring that back here.
Yeah.
I think that it is slowly opening up, and we need to keep the attitude. Our attitude needs to be more positive.
I totally agree with you. We can get a bit down in the dumps and a bit sour and a bit less energised in the other countries. And Australia's pumping.
Yeah, Australia's pumping, Bali's pumping, India's pumping, United States is pumping, Europe is pumping, and I think that Africa is booming. I think what we need to do is we need to lift our game and in so many ways we're leaders, and we need to remind ourselves that New Zealand can make things happen.
Yeah, and we can be on the big stage. Just I've said this for many times now, but the America's Cup, we're not big enough or good enough to host it here. It goes overseas. No, we can do this stuff. We've got to have events here.
We can do anything, and we've got to, as a community, get behind it. Just like we need to get behind this drive, this clothing
So
drive.
remind us how to do it again, because it could complicate people. So let's just say it again.
So on Saturday, on the 19th, between 10 and 4 p.m., you open your Uber app.
Yep.
And then you click on Red Cross.
Easy.
The information will come up. The box that you have packed of your beautiful clothes that you're going to gift away will be ready by the front door. The Uber driver will come pick up that box and then take it to the nearest Red Cross in Auckland, Wellington or Christchurch.
And so all you have to do is box it up nicely and make sure it's clean and worthy.
Yeah, and worthy.
And then gift.
And then you can just watch it, go on that path.
Wow. So you've teamed up with Uber as well. So Red Cross teams up with Uber. That's impressive.
I think it's wonderful. It's a wonderful initiative.
Yeah. Hey, just back to your point about being positive. I reckon we're held back. You know, we're held back by our tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah.
You know, and you'd probably have received this over the years too.
I find it really strange when I know you, and I know you through my friends, and you know me, and I know me, and when you hear things about yourself, that sort of initially it threw me, and then I realised it's got nothing to do with me.
No, that's right. An example of this, I was on Celebrity Treasure Island, just came off it the other night, and I was sort of booed when I arrived. People thought, "Oh, this guy." I don't know what that means, because I've been involved in political journalism and I've been sort of negative and attacking people and stuff. I suppose that's the job. And then so they thought, "Oh, don't know about this guy. Let's hope he's first off." 2 days later, when they got re-interviewed, they asked for those comments to be scrubbed out. And he's a right guy. He's all right. Can I not? So until you know somebody,
and they learn who you are.
Oh, they totally do. Yeah,
they learn who you are on that journey, and that's why I think it's important to remain authentic to yourself and don't buy into the noise. Yeah, and
but you hear so many things about yourself, and people then repeat it, and it goes around the place. But it's not true, so it's not a fact. But non-facts can travel, and then it's a problem.
I remember. I mean, back in the day when you had Breakfast TV, I was a huge fan.
You're a great guy.
I just
big
loved
supporter.
it. I loved it. And then the odd comment here and there, and I would jump in and go, "Well, no, that's not true." And then they wouldn't know how to cope with that.
I know. You're a great self-regulator on that front. You back this. What's it like being from what you do, being age 52? Things start to get a bit tougher, 52.
How?
Well, the legs don't work as well, and just as you get a bit stiffer and it's a bit older, and so as a male model, what's it like in that space at 52?
I think things are a bit tighter. I put on a bit of weight, and that's normal. And I don't know. I just am comfortable with myself. The only constant in life is change, and we evolve and we grow, and I accept that. I'm not afraid of aging. Sometimes people would say, "Oh, you're scared of being, 50," and I would go, "I'm 52."
I mean, all the time I've dealt with you. You have embraced yourself.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. You are who you are.
Yeah, you should see me at parties. I embrace everyone else.
and so, what is there still a big going out scene? Are there still lots of events being put on? Are you still invited to everything? I mean, is this how it works?
There are events, but events they tend to lean into business, and I love that. Yes, because there should always be a reason and a season for something. Yes, so I'll go in and I'll understand what's going on and support it.
Do you get sometimes do you just want your own space, and do you get sick of going out and being that guy? And
I've always been that way. See, people, sometimes I'll hear that I'm at every party. I'm not. I love being at home. I have a library of personal books at my house, and I read and I do art, and I know,
because you're really well considered, and I know you read, and I know you watch, and you are into current affairs, news, and every event.
I have the TV on in the background. Or a podcast, and I listen.
It's a podcast now, Colin.
Yeah, it's a podcast now.
yeah.
Podcast and Crocs, isn't it?
So you've never been a fan of Crocs, and I get that. We don't have to go back to there. Hey, thank you for coming in. I think you do wonderful work. You're a great ambassador, and Red Cross is lucky to have you. You do great work.
Oh no, it's a privilege for me to be here, but it's also a privilege of me to support the Red Cross in this clothing drive.
Yeah, 56,000 kilograms. So let's aim to do 60,000.
Yeah, let's aim to do 60,000 or more, and come on, New Zealand, let's get behind this.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Colin. Good to see you. All the best, mate. Go well.
Duncan Garner, live.
Honestly, one of life's good guys. He just dropped something. It doesn't matter. It's only the headphones. That's good. Okay, folks. He really is one of the good guys. Now, answer me this. Does someone who's been going to a gym have more rights and entitlements as a member than, say, you might have only been going for 1 year? So if this member's been going for 20 years and you've been going for 1 year, do they have more rights? Well, not that I'm aware of. Well, certainly not at places like the YMCA where it's apparently about community and everyone is welcome. Well, I've been a bit rattled by this today, but this afternoon my faith in us still having the same rights and no one being better than the next person was shattered when I took my son and 5 of his mates into the Mount Albert YMCA. We have all been going there since March. When I came back from Sleepy Treasure Island, I thought I'd better join the gym, get fitter. And my son and his mates all came along too. So we're all paid up members. And let me explain this. In the area where they do the classes, the classes, it was empty. And it is up until 5:30 in the afternoon. So we set up some mats and engaged in training the boys to wrestle and use their strength. They all play rugby, so it's a good exercise. They're learning to wrestle the right way and that sort of thing. It's 5 p.m. and we're aware that the class starts at 5:30 and we would be well gone by then. Now, a very uptight woman called Karen, that's her real name, who we find out takes the class into the room and, man, she was angry and cold and refused to engage when I asked what time she would like us out. She, I don't know if she's probably a baby boomer, but boy, she was so offended that we were in her space, despite the staff telling us that we were welcome to be there until 5:30, although another staff member told us 5:15, so that's fine. Whatever it was, we were happy to go when we needed to go. But she refused to engage with me. I asked her, what time she refused to engage. Huffed and puffed and went and complained to staff about my boys and myself being in there. No need to complain. All she needed to do was say, "Hi, can you please be out by 5:15 as my people arrive?" And I'd say, "Sure, no worries, we can go early if you want." End of story. But she was offended that someone else could be in her space. How could this happen? So she complained, and despite staff telling us we could be there, we were moved out on the spot, just like that, 26 minutes before the class began. She told me she had never had to put up with this sort of behaviour in 20 long years of being there. 20 years I've been here, she said. And there it was, entitlement, up her own backside. And that's why I'm speaking out about this. I'm sick of it. This woman who refused to do the most simple of things and engage with me as the boys' supervisor, I suppose, in the room. Could I ask you to leave shortly? Of course, no problems. I'm not a difficult person. I love it there. We have a good time there. But she decided to escalate this, and she thought that she should not be there if we were there. So we had to go. She saw a bunch of teenage boys and was dismissive, and clearly they were well below her social status and her right to occupy. She's been there 20 years. 20 years I've been there, and I still read of this. I was so pissed off. My boys don't smoke, they don't vape, they don't drink, nor are they truant. They're good boys who go to the gym after school every day to be better people. It's their community gym. This is where we hang out. She had no right to trample over us and leave us feeling like shit. I've never experienced such a cold and brutally socially inept, entitled person in my life like I have this afternoon. And I met some doozies. Her entitlement was shocking. She was better than us, and one of her attendees, who wasn't there at the time, later came up to me, an older woman, saying that she was disgusted at me, as she'd been there 25 years. I almost said, well, Māori have been here 800 years. Can they have the land back that the gym sits on? I didn't want to be too smart-ass about this. But I've been rattled by this woman all afternoon, and when I left the gym, I left my son in there and his mates, and seeing I wasn't there, she then targeted him, went up to him, into his face, and called him a smart-ass. He never said a word. How cowardly, waiting for me to leave. That really pissed me off. We have issues in this country. We've retreated to our respective corners. We're angry, and we can avoid this by merely just communicating properly, by talking properly. She arrived in the gym at 5 p.m. Can you leave within 15 minutes, please? Would have done it. Hi, g'day, do you mind if you boys leave in 15? Fine, no problems. But she huffed and puffed and marched around like Hitler. Complained and sent one of her male attendees to try and intimidate me. I told him his involvement would be a mistake. I just calmly said that. Sorry, mate. No. Collectively, between the 6 of us affected by this, we pay close to $100 a week to be members. Tonight, I'm going to lodge a complaint. I hate conflict like this, but bugger it, and I'm speaking out about it. Bugger it. Bugger it, so the entitlement thing is why I'm a journalist. It's why I set myself up as a journalist, because the authority and the entitlement I can't stand. Sometimes you've got to draw a line in the sand when people refuse even the most basic of manners and escalate it far beyond the place that it needs to be at. Why treat these boys like that? What have they done wrong? Why can't you communicate properly? And why do you think you have more rights than anyone else because you've been there 20 years? Karen, you're a bully. A terrible, unattractive, mean-spirited bully who normally wouldn't see the light of day on this podcast, but sometimes you've got to call it on my plonker rankings, and you've hit number 1, and there's more to come. Entitlement is an ugly, ugly disease, folks. Push back on it every time, and entitled bullies, I think, are even worse. I'm not proud of what I called you, but I stand by it. We're the adults, Karen. I want to sit down around the table with my boys and you to resolve this, but I bet you won't lower yourself to join us. All right.
Duncan Garner, live.
Isaac, how are we, sir?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm looking for some restorative justice. Just, some things can get on your goat. I don't get worked up, but sometimes things are a line in the sand on some things,
It is a shame. There are people out there that, that's just ruin the fun,
my dad was a really respectable and upfront guy with people. He really had good manners.
Yeah.
And he would have looked at that and said, please just say, can you guys leave in 15 minutes, please? I've got a class coming. That's what you got to do.
Exactly, yeah.
But marching around. Anyway.
That's
us. Thank you for tuning in to Duncan Garner, Editor-in-Chief, live with Lester's Oil, the premium New Zealand-made fish oil supplement backed by a study. Support joint heart and brain health. About Health have a $500 Pro Health Pack giveaway running in October. So get in quickly. With all the orders going into the draw to win, now you can use the code Duncan, so use my name for 10% off. An extra entry as well comes your way. Abouthealth.co.nz. Take as directed. Read the label. About Health Auckland, 0800 999 309. Isaac, will you gift some clothes? Are you one of those guys that doesn't throw anything out?
I'm not. I'm also one of the guys that just doesn't really have that many clothes.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? Like I just don't have that big of a wardrobe, and so if I was to gift clothes,
you'd be coming to work nude.
Pretty much, yeah. And so
let's avoid that.
Yeah, we'll try to. But obviously, I would love to, and I have in the past.
Yeah.
As I was a growing boy and growing out of my clothes, but not so much anymore.
56,000 kilos.
That's crazy. That's really impressive.
How many elephants?
I think they weigh more than that.
Yeah, well, elephants, I think it's between 5 and 7 tons.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But 56,000 tons of clothes, it's a pile. Yeah. Throw out some good stuff. Regift. Nice guy, Colin, eh?
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy.
52 as well, my goodness.
What's wrong with that?
No, he looks amazing.
Yeah, I'm 50.
I know. Did you feel a little bit intimidated by that?
He doesn't like Crocs. Has anyone seen anything about the Crocs?
Yes, lots of people saying no. No Crocs. No Crocs, Duncan. No Crocs.
Oh, this is short-lived, wasn't it?
No, nobody has actually said yes to Crocs. Everybody said no. So there you go.
I think you summed it up best when you said, I'm late to the second party. Well, I might just wear it to annoy everyone now.
Yeah, there you go.
That's us, folks. This will be available as a podcast on Rover shortly and wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for all your feedback and support. I'm Duncan at rover.nz. To my team, Isaac, Forrester and Willie, thank you guys. Thank you for your support. We'll do it again tomorrow. Remember, life is no dress rehearsal. There is no curtain raiser. This is it. We live in one of the best places on earth. So get out and enjoy it. Communicate properly with people. Be kind and be generous. And have a great rest of the day. Take care.
That was Duncan Garner, Editor-in-Chief, live. Missed something on the live stream? Text Duncan to 3598 to listen back on the podcast. Want to get in touch? Call 0800 863 293.